incident that's come to light from Karnataka, which is about the mysterious death of a contractor in the state. Now, this contractor, Santosh Patil, was found dead in a lodge in Udupi. Now, Patil had earlier accused Karnataka Minister KS Eshwarappa of corruption. And as per the police, the cause of death was suicide. However, before his death, the contractor allegedly sent a WhatsApp message to his friends stating his intention to take his life and blamed Eshwarappa for his death. Chief Minister Bommai, meanwhile, said the contractor's death will be thoroughly investigated and the government would not interfere in the matter. Meanwhile, Congress has blamed Karnataka minister for the death and wants charges against him.
ಅಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಇದು ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋದು ಕೋರ್ಟಿಗೆ ನಾನೇ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಯಾವ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ನನ್ನ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು 40% ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆಯವರು ಯಾರೋ ಸಾಲ ಇದನ್ನು ಕಮಿಷನ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡಂಥ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಆ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾನೇ ಇದನ್ನು ಕೇಸ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಕೇಸ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಕೇಸ್ ಅಡ್ಮಿಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ನನ್ನ ಮಾನನಷ್ಟ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ಕೇಸ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದು ಅಡ್ಮಿಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅಡ್ಮಿಟ್ ಆದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಸ್ವಾಭಾವಿಕ ಆ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗೆ ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದರಿಂದ ಕೋರ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ಎದುರಿಸಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಅವರ ಆತ್ಮಹತ್ಯೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೂ ಇದಕ್ಕೂ ನನಗೇನು ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ತನಿಖೆ ಇವತ್ತೇನು ಕೋರ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿದೆ, ಕೋರ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನನಗೆ ಯಾವುದೂ ತಪ್ಪಿಲ್ಲ. ನನ್ನ ತಪ್ಪಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದಾಗ ಈ ರಾಜೀನಾಮೆ ಕೊಡೋ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಉದ್ಭವ ಆಗಲ್ಲ.
ಸಂತೋಷ್ ಪಾಟೀಲ್ ಅನ್ನುವ ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಶಿವಮೊಗ್ಗ ಒಂದು ಲಾಡ್ಜಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಉಡುಪಿಯ ಒಂದು ಲಾಡ್ಜಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರ ದೇಹ ಪತ್ತೆಯಾಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಪೊಲೀಸರಲ್ಲಿ ಧಾವಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ, SP ಖುದ್ದು ಧಾವಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ರೀತಿಯ ಪ್ರಾಥಮಿಕ ತನಿಖೆ ಆಗ್ತಾಯಿದೆ. ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಕೂಡಲೇ FSL ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್ಗೂ ಹೋಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ತಿಳಿಸಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಮಂಗಳೂರಿಂದ FSL ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಕೂಡ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಹಿತಿಗಳ ಕಲೆ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರಾಥಮಿಕ ವರದಿ ಏನು ಬರ್ತದೆ ಅದರ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ರಮಗಳನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಒಂದನ್ನು ನಾನು ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕೆ ಇಚ್ಛಪಡ್ತೇನೆ, ಈ ಒಂದು ಸಾವು ಇದರ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆಯನ್ನು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ತನಿಖೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಹಸ್ತಕ್ಷೇಪವಾಗಲಿ ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸರ್ವ ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರವಾಗಿ ಪೊಲೀಸರು ತನಿಖೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ತನಿಖೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸತ್ಯ ಹೊರಗೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಅಲ್ಲ, ಹಿಂದೆ ಒಬ್ಬರು ಆಫೀಸರು ಸೂಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಸಿದ್ದರಾಮಯ್ಯ ರಾಜೀನಾಮೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟರ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಮರು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳಿದೆ. ತನಿಖೆ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, ಇದೊಂದು ಸೂಸೈಡ್ ಕೇಸು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆ ಇರುವಂಥದ್ದು ಕೂಡ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಆ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆ ಮತ್ತು ಈಗ ಆಗಿರುವಂಥ ಘಟನೆಯ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ತನಿಖೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ತನಿಖೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸತ್ಯಾಂಶ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಆ ಸತ್ಯಾಂಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಬರ್ತದೆ ಅದರ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ರಮಗಳನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಭಾಳ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ.
But I have not seen the death note.
Sir, earlier also you had demanded resignation of Eshwarappa. The chief minister.
No. He is totally responsible, according to the Santosh Patil. Totally responsible for his death. Yes, for his death. Therefore, a case is to be registered against Mr. Eshwarappa under section 302 IPC, number 1. And also under Prevention of Corruption Act. And also he should be sacked from the ministry.
So do you think CM will also have to take this person?
No, the 40% corruption charges made against the entire government, including Chief Minister.
Let me, in fact, go across to Neha, who's joining us for more details here. Neha, obviously, a lot of unanswered questions here, and take us through what we know so far.
Well, Avni, let's take this back right to the start. This, in fact, was an allegation that had come in by the contractor over here, who's, in fact, committed suicide today. A man by name Santosh Patil, he had written a letter to the Union Minister, Giriraj Singh, as well as the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, about the kind of, corruption that exists today. And most importantly, he had also mentioned that Mr. KS Eshwarappa, the minister in Karnataka today, in fact, was harassing him, was not clearing his dues for a project that he had worked on for the minister. That's one. Secondly, he had also in fact mentioned that the minister's associates were calling him up and asking him for a commission. Now, following this, we saw how the matter, in fact, of course, was being investigated, following which Mr. KS Eshwarappa had, in fact, filed a defamation case against Santosh Patil. A notice was issued to him as per the minister over here. And, what's unfortunate is that even as Santosh Patil over here had spoken up openly in the letter, both to the Prime Minister and the Union Minister, there was no investigation that was launched to the effect that, in fact, KS Eshwarappa's associates being questioned, or the minister himself. In fact, the Chief Minister now, Basavaraj Bommai, when this question was taken to him about whether Mr. Eshwarappa would be investigated, he has, in fact, gone on to say that the police on their part would not leave out any angle of investigation, and, in fact, the truth would come out. Now, coming to Santosh Patil's death itself, we understand that he was, in fact, found dead in Shambhavi hotel over there in Udupi district of Karnataka. It was last night that he actually stepped out with his friends when we saw, him actually coming back to his room. There was a message that was sent from his phone to a few of his close friends as well, wherein he said that, if at all I die, then it is only the Minister Eshwarappa who's to be held responsible for his death, and not his friends who had accompanied him for dinner. His body was found earlier this morning by the Udupi police in the hotel. They are, of course, probing the matter right now. But primarily, Avni, of course, the larger question over here is coming back to the corruption allegations, not only against KS Eshwarappa, the minister, but in fact against the government itself, and how now this probe is going to, in fact, proceed. The Congress, on its part, has called for a judicial probe. We saw the Karnataka Congress President D.K. Shivakumar stating that a judicial probe must be ordered into this. We saw Siddaramaiah also demanding the resignation of the minister KS Eshwarappa on charges of corruption, and a 302 IPC case to be booked against him. Now, of course, now that this has happened, we'll really have to wait and see as of now if there are, any links between the suicide of this contractor, as well as, in fact, of the murder, the death of this contractor, as well as KS Eshwarappa over here in concern.
All right, Tanya, thank you so much for joining us with all of those details.